Before we begin, a content warning. This episode discusses a missing persons case involving a pregnant woman, suspected foul play, and the systemic pattern of media silence around missing Black women in America. All information in this episode is sourced from verified law enforcement records and named media publications. Listener discretion is advised. You are listening to The Last Known Moment. All stories covered on this program are retold based on publicly available information, court documents, and verified media coverage. While we strive for accuracy, some details may be subject to interpretation or ongoing legal proceedings. All individuals discussed are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Natural Queen 77 TV relies primarily on publicly available court documents and verified reports. This podcast is for informational purposes only. Always consult primary legal sources for research. Season 1, Episode 6, The Disappearance of Kierra Coles, Chicago, Illinois. I'm your host, and this is The Last Known Moment, the podcast that covers the cases the headlines forgot. Today's case opens on a Tuesday afternoon, October 2nd, 2018, Chicago's South Side. A 26-year-old woman calls her mother. She wants to know what kind of milk she should be drinking during her pregnancy. She is 3 months along. She is excited. Her whole family is excited. That evening, she goes grocery shopping, stops at a Walgreens, and vanishes. Her name is Kierra Coles, and nearly 8 years later, she has never been found. Before I tell you what happened, let me tell you who Kierra Coles was. She was a mail carrier for the United States Postal Service, a federal government employee with a stable job and her own apartment on the 8100 block of South Vernon Avenue in Chicago's Chatham neighborhood on the South Side. She was building her life with intention. She was the last of her mother Karen's children to be expecting a baby. And by every account from family, friends, and the detectives who spent years on her case, the whole family was celebrating that pregnancy. Chicago homicide detective Lieutenant Will Spieler described her this way when he agreed to speak publicly about the case for the first time in 2022, speaking to NBC5 Investigates. She's living a great life. She's going to have a baby. She's gainfully employed. She is an upstanding citizen who was living a nice life who all of a sudden disappears. That is who Kierra Coles was. Now let me walk you through October 2nd, 2018. That afternoon, Kierra spoke with her mother, Karen Phillips. Karen later told NBC Chicago she was just so excited, she didn't even know what to get. She was shopping for baby supplies, talking about milk, talking about her pregnancy. There were, by every account, no signs that anything was wrong. That evening, surveillance cameras captured Kierra carrying groceries into her apartment building on South Vernon Avenue. Investigators have studied that footage frame by frame. Later that same night, she left her building with a man. The two drove together to a 24-hour Walgreens located at 8600 South Cottage Grove Avenue on Chicago's South Side. At 10:43 that evening, security cameras inside the store captured Kierra at the ATM machine. She withdrew $400 in cash. Her mother told investigators and later told reporters that this was deeply out of character. I didn't understand why she would be taking $400 out, Karen Phillips said, because she's really cautious with spending. That ATM withdrawal, $400, 10:43 at night, is the last confirmed time Kierra Coles was ever seen on camera. What happened next is where this case becomes something investigators have never been able to fully explain. Surveillance footage captured the man who had been with Kierra driving her car back to her neighborhood alone, parking it down the street before 11:45 that same night. And when he got out of the car, he did not exit from the driver's side. He exited from the passenger side. Detective Filer addressed this directly when he spoke to NBC5 Investigates. I can only speculate. It's not like you're opening a car door in traffic. My speculation is he's staging the seat. In other words, detectives believe the man may have been sliding the driver's seat forward by hand to make it appear as though Kierra had been the one driving. The surveillance footage then shows him walking to a separate vehicle parked nearby and driving away in his own car. The next morning, the same man returned to Kierra's apartment alone and left with items in his hands. When Kierra did not come home, her mother filed a missing persons report. Her car was found near her apartment building on South Vernon Avenue. Her cell phone was inside the car. Her purse was inside the car. Her packed lunch for the next day's shift was inside the car. Kierra was not. Chicago police have never officially named a person of interest in Kierra's disappearance. But Kierra's mother, Karen Phillips, speaking publicly to NBC Chicago, identified the man she believes was with her daughter that night as Kierra's boyfriend, Josh Simmons, and described him as the presumed father of her unborn child. NBC5 Investigates confirmed that Simmons had no prior criminal history. Detective Filer confirmed that when Simmons was interviewed by police, he gave conflicting accounts. Wasn't consistent on some of the statements and then didn't want to talk to us, Filer said. Not long after, Simmons moved out of state. He did not respond to written requests for comment from NBC5 Investigates. Karen Phillips has said publicly what she needs from him. I know you know something. You know what happened. You don't know the pain that I feel not knowing what's going on with my child. I wish you would come forward and tell us what really happened to her. As of the recording of this episode, Josh Simmons has not been charged with any crime in connection with Kierra's disappearance. The investigation that followed was extensive by any measure. The Chicago Police Department classified Kierra's case as a high-risk missing person investigation with potential foul play suspected. Over 400 leads were developed and investigated. The Chicago Police Department, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the United States Postal Inspection Service all became involved. The Postal Inspection Service, specifically because Kierra was a federal employee. Detective Filer, who has worked hundreds of homicide cases since 1998, reviewed the surveillance timeline and was direct about what he believes. I think the last time we see Kierra, she is unfortunately not alive much longer after that. He also said, there's always a chance that she did go somewhere else, but the weight of what investigators have documented is hard to set aside. A reward for information about Kierra's whereabouts has grown over the years and currently stands at $68,000. $68,000. Nearly 8 years. Over 400 leads, and Kierra Coles has not been found. I need to talk about something that I believe is essential to understanding this case and why you may be hearing Kierra's name for the first time right now, even though she has been missing for nearly 8 years. Kierra Coles was a federal employee. She was on surveillance camera. She had a family who reported her missing immediately. She was 3 months pregnant. She had a stable life, a community that loved her in every circumstance that should have generated national urgency. It didn't. The Black and Missing Foundation, which became involved in Kierra's case, has documented what advocates have long said plainly. Missing Black women and girls receive significantly less national media attention than their white counterparts, regardless of the circumstances of their disappearance. This is not an accident. It is a pattern, and Karen Phillips has been naming that pattern out loud for nearly 8 years. Somebody knows something, she has said. I just wish somebody would have a heart to say I'm going to give this family some justice. Kierra Coles remains listed as an active missing person by the Cook County Sheriff's Office and the Chicago Police Department. Her case has been featured on the Investigation Discovery series Hunt for the Missing, Chicago. In 2025, retired Chicago detective Pamela Childs stepped in to pursue new evidence in the case. As of this recording, no arrests have been made, no charges have been filed, Kierra has not been found. She would be 32 years old today. If you have any information about Kierra Coles, please reach out. Kierra is a black woman, 5 feet 4 inches tall, 125 pounds. She has a heart tattoo on her right hand and wrist and a tattoo on her back that reads Lucky Libra. Chicago Police Department tip line 833-408-0069 or visit cpdtip.com. Cook County Sheriff's Office 773-674-9490. United States Postal Inspection Service 1-877-876-2455. When prompted, say law enforcement. Black and Missing Foundation Anonymous Tip Line 1-877-97-BAMFI or visit blackandmissinginc.com. Her name is Kierra Coles. She was 26 years old. She called her mom to ask about milk. She was building a life. She deserved to be found. If this episode meant something to you, please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, leave a review, and share this with someone who might have a connection to this case. Every share matters. Every set of ears matters. Sources for this episode include ABC News, NBC5 Investigates, ABC7 Chicago, Fox 32 Chicago, the Cook County Sheriff's Office Missing Persons Listing, the United States Postal Inspection Service, and the Black and Missing Foundation. All quotes are sourced from named publications. No speculation is presented as fact. Thank you for listening to The Last Known Moment.